the WHO recently just announced, 41 million global mortality. People are dying each year. For the past decades, 41 million. And now, the recent one I read, it's going to be 42 or 43 by the year 2030. Why? There are so many types of exercise going on. There are so many types of clubs. There are all kinds of gadgets. There are all kinds of bicycles, everything. But why are people still dying? The thing is that when people start to exercise, people are, dropping dead.
There's a lot of couch potatoes today. A lot of children being just provided with gadgets and devices, and they are bored down just by watching the screen, and they don't get a lot of time for exercise and movement.
But I feel that children should be allowed to play. They can
Just
play with
play,
handphone.
just play. Yeah.
Don't have to limit them to a certain kind of sports. A 75-year-old man, he can build muscle as well as a 26-year-old young man.
Wow. More and more people are becoming aware and they're trying to squeeze their time to exercise.
Yes.
But at the same time, they're also bogged down with a lot of what I call it, like chasing the world. Like a lot of like commitments and everything they need to do, and then like suddenly like exercise 10 o'clock at night, which is sometimes I would still say like non-beneficial in that point.
Correct.
Of course, just to get the calories you burn, but then the other segment of the body is also neglected.
I feel ni nothing pancreatic cancer
Bersama saya Dr. Roland Victor.
satu benda yang one of the worst stress can happen bila you makan tak sedap.
Doktor, saya punya culture kena makan nasi.
Zaman moden. That every second of your life you either earn or learn.
Batu Medic Show. What's up everyone? Welcome to another episode of Lesung Batu Medic Show. Hari ni kita bertuah untuk membincangkan satu topik which is sinonim dengan masyarakat, sama ada you buat ke tak buat, which is senaman or exercise. So exercise ni pun ada segmen exercise medicine, dan hari ni saya bertuah. I'm very blessed to have Prof. Dr. Muhammad Lee Chee Pheng. Welcome to Lesung Batu, Dr. Lee.
Thank you.
Exercise is a very, very big segment of healthcare.
Correct.
Okay? And it's very interesting that we hear from you that there is a segment of exercise medicine. And how did it all begin on your side? Because a lot of people think exercise is like physiotherapy, exercise is sports. How did your journey start into this field?
Well, you see, exercise began very popular back in the early 70s. And then you see exercise starting off just to get extra energy to play. And as you play, you get evolved to injuries, and then you want recovery from injuries. And from there, exercise has become a kind of a sports. And later on, the administration of anabolic steroids and so forth and so forth. And then later on, the sports science fraternity, they have evolved into sports medicine. And from sports medicine, it goes on to more into how fast it recovers. So from there, we want to see that so many researchers has actually gone involved into how exercise improve human health. So this is how it began. And I was with the Malaysian Health Promotion Board. And
When was that? Which year was it?
I think about 2007, 2008.
But how that journey started? I mean, what got you started into exercise medicine?
Okay, at that time...
Take us back in time.
Yeah, okay. At that time, there were many doctors who actually wants to prescribe exercise to their patient. But unfortunately, in their prescription sheet, they just write the word exercise. And then you see people getting the badminton racket, but there were none specific what to do, how to do, when to do, how much and how little to do. So at that time, we started off with a program called Doctors Referrals Program.
Okay.
Doctors Referral Program. This
80s?
is in 2009.
Okay.
2009.
Okay.
Then later on, as I keep on looking into it, I kind of drafted a structure. Then I presented it to the Ministry of Health. That time was YB Liu Tong Lai. I think 2010 I presented to him. And then as of today, exercise is part of the intervention program. It's
Under the Ministry of Health.
Ministry of Health, where we use exercise as the first line of treatment for NCD patients. And you know what, Doc? This has actually put Malaysia as the first country in Asia to formally prescribe exercise as a first line of intervention to NCD.
Really?
Yeah.
Malaysia?
First country in Asia.
I mean, then what are the other countries doing?
They are, but they are not formal.
Okay,
They
so
were prescribed,
It's
yes.
in the ministry's
Yes.
agenda.
We actually have started off exercise clinics with the Ministry of Health at the Klinik Kesihatan. And they are actually referring patients with pre-NCD, sending them to us, and we will do our protocol and instruct them with exercise, and then refer them back to the referring doctors. And many of them has been discharged. And we not only control their conditions, we actually reverse them.
So what are the NCDs that you all are referring to? For those who are watching, NCDs means non-communicable diseases, especially focus on the segments of like diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular issues,
We are looking
hyperlipidemia.
into obesity, that's number one.
Okay.
Diabetes, all right, and conditioning of the cardiac system.
Okay.
Yeah, these are the three. And we have also worked with using exercise with a pharmacology company to support those prostate cancer patients.
Okay.
Yeah, how they will be supported during their treatment period, you see. Because prostate cancer during treatment, they will castrate the testosterone, and they will mimic accelerated aging.
Correct.
So we have to use certain exercise with a certain dose, so that exercise during that time will not secrete testosterone.
Okay.
Yeah. So another part of it, which is more anabolic to the body, will be like the human growth hormones.
Yeah, GH growth hormone.
So that will be produced instead of testosterone, and it will
Support muscle growth.
Support muscle growth, and they become better. We have patients coming in a wheelchair and walk off with a walking stick.
Oh, nice. So,
Yeah.
how many klinik kesihatan in Malaysia is involved?
We had two. One is in Kuala Ketil, one is in Bagan Pinang. But Bagan Pinang one, they're under renovation. We do not know what's the status now. We have our MOU with them. The MOU signed between my college, the Asia College of Exercise Medicine. We signed with them that we set up an exercise clinic, and we receive patients from the medical doctors from KK.
I see. So this is an adjunct center, or it's inside the klinik kesihatan?
It's just beside. Beside the Klinik Kesihatan, the Ministry of Health will provide the space. They take care of the aircon, Wi-Fi,
The infrastructure.
Yeah. Then we take care of the equipments, and then we send in our exercise therapists
Okay. So the exercise therapists come from your
my
college?
college.
Okay.
Yeah. So we will send our students who have graduated, and then those students are on internship. They will be sent there to look into the patients referred to us. Yeah.
I see. So how long had you had this college of Asian College of Exercise Medicine?
We got the approval from the Ministry of Higher Education in 2012.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
until
this is
today.
almost more than 13 years
13
as a
yes.
college.
Right,
Okay.
yes.
And how many students have graduated from?
We have until today, if I'm not wrong, 580 to 90 students.
Okay.
Close to 600.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a good number of.
Okay, because we only provide, offer one course,
Okay.
which is a diploma in exercise science, where they will be trained to look into the protocol of using exercise as a form of treatment.
And how long does that course duration?
It's a 3 years, 3 years course.
program.
Yeah, diploma, 3 years course, and most of our students are fully employed. We wanted to employ them back after spending 3 years with them. They are all taken up by fitness centers.
I think that is a very, very good opportunity looking at a country like Malaysia, where we have rising numbers of obesity, rising numbers of hypertension, diabetes, cardiovascular issues. I think the
Yes.
need for more younger population who are trained in this kind of
Agreed.
field is
Yeah,
very, very
definitely,
important.
yes.
Because I feel when you go into a general gym in an urban area, you have a lot of fitness centers, some operating 24 hours, 7 days a
Yes.
week, some club membership, some I call it the gym karat.
Yeah,
That means
yeah.
you just pay 3 or 5
Yeah,
ringgit,
then
you
you
can
go
just
in there and then you have
walk
fun.
in and do some form of thing. But there is no one actually to guide you unless you hire a personal trainer.
trainer,
So
yeah.
for those who graduate from such colleges like yours, okay, they have some form of succession plan to go to this. But at the same time, there's another segment that we see just fully focusing on the segment of exercise as a therapy for recovery, like medicine.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. So that's why I think the country needs this, definitely needs this, and looking into the next coming few years, where Malaysia will be declared as an aging nation. And we're going to have
2030.
millions of people who's above 60. Like me, today I'm 64, going to be 65 already. So there'll be more than that. A lot of them will be there. And we need people who know how to, control and monitor vital signs and, teach basic exercises to the old folks at home instead of sending them anywhere. They will be busy. Yeah, we also provide home therapy.
This is good.
Yeah, we are doing this very successfully in Pengerang under the Parliament of Pengerang, Datuk Sri Azalina. She is providing those, and we have so many patients who were bedridden. Today they are walking, pumping around, walking.
Nice. So it also shows that the segment of medicine in terms of exercise medicine doesn't require you to just be based on equipment. That means like as long as we know certain procedures to do certain mobilities, without all these tools, you still can get them to do exercise.
Well, yes. I think after the understanding of exercise medicine, one would have a broader idea how much to give to someone who needs to exercise on a general term with the basic studies. But basically in an exercise clinic that we have tools. We have to measure, let's say if I give you a 3 kilogram for an exercise to build your biceps, if you ask me why, which normally people don't ask, if your instructor said 3 kilo, you just take 3 kilo and you do 10 times. But the question is, if you ask why 3 kilo, there's no way to answer you. They'll just say, oh, you may be looking bigger, you can do 3 kilo. No, he is smaller, you can do 2 kilo. Very subjective. So here we have a system to measure you. And then same goes for when you walk on a treadmill. Most of the people when they're in a gym or in a club, when they go on a treadmill, they are not really actually busy walking, They're actually busy pressing fast, and slow. Because they will be exhausted and then they'll be too slow. So what we have done is that we have discovered a formula. I'm sure everybody have heard of maximum heart rate, target heart rate, heart rate recovery.
Heart rate variability.
All this. And then we discovered this, what we call heart rate return.
Okay.
Heart rate return.
Heart rate return.
Yeah, this was done in about 9 years ago.
Okay.
I published a paper, and what we do is that, you see, as we exercise, there's a lot of things that's going on in the system, particularly potassium.
Okay.
All right, and if you suddenly stop, then they will trigger the reabsorption of potassium because the muscles doesn't contract anymore.
Okay.
And when the body reabsorbs back the potassium, you will find that you will be hypokalemia, low potassium, and that can trigger arrhythmic.
Okay.
And that could kill.
Yeah. Okay.
So as we see potassium linearly progress with heart rate, so we calculated that at a certain number of heartbeat, your potassium will be back to normal. So with the treadmill, we have actually incorporated this formula into it, so it's safe.
So is it very necessary for people who do sprints or they have a warm down?
Yes.
Warm down run after after the sprint or like a 5 kilometer dash run.
Correct.
Like that. So it's not like just stop immediately and then sit.
Yeah. That's what you see. You see a lot of those sudden death. I mean, now we are going to this subject called sudden death. It's rampant now. You see the world leaders, WHO, everyone is telling us to exercise. And particularly after MCO, COVID pandemic. And then we see people start to go to exercise. And the thing is that when people start to exercise, people are, dropping dead. Professional football players, recreational badminton players, students running the 2.4 kilometers run. And you don't see them drop and collapse while they are running or while they are chasing the shuttlecock. You will see them after chasing the shuttlecock and then about pause, they drop. So, hypothetically, we are looking into that. So we are now conducting a research with the medical faculty of UNISHAM in Kedah
Okay.
to see the level of potassium in the blood when someone stops immediately and it goes. We have done the first phase. Second phase, I was told that we have got the ethical committee approval. So
great.
we're proceeding on that. Yeah. I mean, a little bit more too in-depth. I mean, basically, we are just only a small college, is it?
No, but that's interesting. At least there is some form of collaboration with the local news.
Yes,
but I
definitely.
want to bring you back that I prior to our sit down here, I got to know that you also belong to the Eastern Bloc. You went in the early 90s to
93.
to Hungary, right?
Yes.
What drove you to go there at that point?
Well, I was a sportsman employed by Malaysian Banking
Okay.
back in the late 70s.
Okay.
I was a sportsman after my Form 5. You know, those days in Form 5, my result wasn't good. You know, you couldn't go to many colleges. So I joined the bank as an athlete. And then while as an athlete, I wasn't born with good genetics to actually compete as a professional or national level. But well, in the bank, I did pretty well. And later on, I want to improve myself. And I find that strength is the basis of life. And the way to actually learn strength, where does it come from? Something that exists, but you can't feel, is it? So I've decided to find places like Bulgaria, Iceland, Poland. And then through one of my very close clients that we had, this lady is called Mrs. Solomon. I love to mention her name because she was the one who actually helped me all these things. And I got into this Budapest, where 1994, I think Perak was hosting the Sukma Games.
Okay.
And the director came down and I met him. And so 94 until 2004, I completed my my doctorate.
So you were there for almost
I was until
10
today,
years.
about 33 years.
there.
Until today, yeah.
Okay.
33, half my life. Yeah. So that's why I'm
So you're half Hungarian now.
half Hungarian, but I don't speak many words in Hungarian.
Is
Yeah,
it?
but it's okay. I can get along there.
Okay. So that led you to do your doctorate,
Yeah.
and also your PhD.
Yeah, my PhD. Yeah,
And
yeah.
what was your PhD on?
My PhD is on human growth.
Human growth.
Yes.
Growth. I mean growth hormone
Yes.
or
No, growth.
growth.
Growing stage.
Wow.
So it was from children all the way. So we do studies on collecting data, how the child grow, and how we can actually define them as potentially a good athlete, like a talent ID, and also we work on elderly people. So it's a vast gap, but they focus on that.
So that means you can be a very good scouter.
Well, we did that before, but mostly in Europe.
Do you see that? I mean, this out of the box question. Like, means like, can you see like certain young children, like you think like, wow, at certain age you can already spot like this kid can go far if he gets the right training.
Oh yes, definitely. You can see this definitely. I think in Malaysia alone, I have not been into real area into the high performance sports. Even though I have served in 2004,
KBS and all, yeah.
Kementerian Belia and Sukan under Dato Sri Azalina, while she was the Minister of Sports. I've seen potentially Malaysian has got very good children who are naturally born with a natural strength. You know,
Okay.
you can see that, and then you can see their body structure. You can see their architecture of their movements. They're born with it. You don't even need all those biomechanics movements to see how they are. You look at them. Some of them are very agile. Some of them are agile, but they're frail. Some of them are agile and they're strong. So they are the potential athletes. But well, I don't know. They have their own selecting criteria. So.
Understand. And when we talk about exercise medicine, I think as we talk about kids, I think there's a lot of couch potatoes today. A lot of children being just provided with gadgets and devices, and they are bored down just by watching the screen, and they don't get a lot of time for exercise and movement. And I think maybe in your centers soon, we're going to have kids also coming.
Well, we will be happy because as we know, everyone is talking about handphone and all this. Well, I have not much comment on that because it's a common thing, but I feel that children should be allowed to play. They can
Just
play with
play,
handphone.
just play. Yeah.
Don't have to limit them to a certain kind of sports. Let them play. Let them choose. Let them choose. Today they may like to go for taekwondo. Tomorrow they may want to go for badminton. Next day they said, "Mommy, Daddy, I want to go for football." Let them do it. Let them do it because they're trying to find what they want. You see, this is how we select children's field of sports potential. Let them play, and then as they grow up, they will know what will be a competitive sports they will want to go in. We do this a lot in Europe. When I was in Hungary, in my second country, we have children as young as 4 years old. They start dancing, and as they grow up, they become rhythmic gymnastics, and they represent the country.
I think that's culturally. Even I saw that in my uni, when we used to go and play futsal in the evenings after class.
They were evening classes.
And the kids are there like for ballet. They are there for like tennis at a very very young age.
Very young. Yeah. They start from there. Yeah. So let them play, let them choose, and then slowly they will know how to choose the sports that they would like to compete in.
But also, I would like to reflect on maybe the kids growing in the 70s, 80s, or even 60s or 50s. I think the evening time was absolutely being outdoors, it's very open and not constructed.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to the field. You have 5 people. You decide whether today you're going to play football, you're going to play catching. You're going to do police and thief. Yeah. You're going to do some form of exercise.
Correct.
Where it's very fluid. There's no structure. But unfortunately, also today, because of the construct of society, that we have a lot of fears. Fears like you cannot leave the kids alone in the padang. We cannot allow them to just cycle around the taman.
Correct.
So you need to bring them you need to go for football coaching. You need to go for badminton coaching.
Yes.
Whereas the time is you have 2 rackets, you have a shuttlecock. Our Jalan Raya is already our court.
That's the court. Yeah.
And one string would have fixed the net for you.
Exactly. Correct. I agree.
But today you see a lot of playgrounds. You see a lot of old town estates where those days all the badminton courts are there. Nobody is there. No kid is out there playing in an open air badminton court of the 70s.
There's a lot of danger posed onto it. Yeah.
Yeah. So these things I see so there's also a lot of cost burden for parents to bring kids, or you need to bring them to a center. Then you pay another 150, 200 ringgit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So which something was actually you don't have to pay. You just have to have the equipment and then you're done.
I think that's where we find all those, the sports grade like Mokhtar Hari, Sochin An,
Exactly.
All these people,
They're all from the street.
Yeah, they're
All from the street.
Arumugam, Santok Singh.
All
these are
street
the great-
talent.
Yeah.
And which are so we need to find more scouts like you now going out to this.
Well, if there's a chance, I don't mind. I would love to see, younger children getting guided properly. Let them be their own. Let them grow. Let them grow. Give them a chance to grow.
True.
Yeah.
Dr. Lee, again, one question is a misconception of finding physiotherapy and exercise in the same position. It's totally different, right?
Well, physiotherapy has been long established. All right, when we brought the exercise therapy to the Ministry of Health, we clearly draw a line that we don't cross into the area, because in exercise therapy, we will look into patients before medical treatment. All right, the doctor sees that you are getting into a condition of diabetes, but you're not there yet. You're entering into it. The doctor will say, all right, I'm not going to give you medication, go and exercise. That's where we come in. Whereas in physiotherapy, I used to manage a physiotherapy school. They will receive patients after medical treatment. Like if you have a broken leg from MVA, the doctor will get everything ready and done, and then you're sent to a physiotherapy for their processes. The physiotherapists, they work a lot on to rehab, and they also they use electrotherapy, ultrasound, shockwave, and so on and so forth. So whereas we only use exercise with the, we call it the biomechanics, means there is a force and there's a vector, there's a direction.
Okay.
Yeah. And what is the dose? We focus a lot on dose. You see, one of the things that a lot of people who exercise, and then in fact, I met a lot of them. They said, Dr. Lee, you keep on talking about exercise. I've been doing that for the past 3 months, 6 months. Look at me. There's no changes at all. There's only one thing I can tell them that, you get the dosage wrong. Just like in any
Medicine.
field of medicine. If you give the wrong dosage, you're going to harm or there's nothing. So same for exercise. If you get it right, you will get it right.
So, how do we define this dose?
The dosage we look into is basically, you see, there are two things that a lot of those sports sciences we have spoken with them. And one of them, they talk about the principle of exercise, principle of sports, it's a FITT, which is frequency, intensity, time, and types of sports. So there's the principle of it. Whereas the dosage is different. The dosage we talk about, how do I get the right poundage for you?
Okay.
All right, for each muscle. And the other one is that when we exercise, we look into two systems. One is the musculoskeletal. Now we have added the neuromusculoskeletal, the neural part. And the other one we look into is the cardiorespiratory system.
Okay.
All right. So on this, for the neuromuscular system, we look into how many pounds that you need to lift, how many times. That is more to the minute part of it. Whereas in the cardiorespiratory, where the heart and the lungs is concerned, or the vessels are concerned, we look into how many heartbeats, and when should you stop, and at what heartbeat it serves as an intervention for what condition.
Okay.
So that's how we use dosage into each condition. Healthy person, pre-NCD, and you're frail. How do we prevent fall? Which muscle to train if for elderly who are frail and very susceptible to be falling. So we look into all these conditions before we prescribe them. So that's the difference between the FITT principle and also the dosage of exercise. So this is where we differ a little bit more.
Yeah, because I think this dosage is a very interesting terminology that you.
Yeah, I know. There has been a lot
brought
of
in.
people asking me, what do you mean by dose? Is it because you see, the world is exercising. And you can see the WHO recently just announced, 41 million global mortality. People are dying each year. For the past decades, 41 million. And now, the recent one I read, it's going to be 42 or 43 by the year 2030. Why? There are so many types of exercise going on. There are so many types of clubs. There are all kinds of gadgets. There are all kinds of bicycles, everything. But why are people still dying? And even though physical inactivity is the fourth cause.
Physical inactivity is the fourth cause.
All right. So if it is the fourth cause, it contributes 6% of the total mortality. That's a lot. We're talking about millions. 24 million if it is 41 million, 6%. All right. But how are we good? Why is it not working? The dosage is not there.
But does the dosage also correspond with like muscle growth and all? Because but then wouldn't that be a limitation for some adults? Like after a certain age, you have a dampening of growth hormone, certain hormonal issues are coming in, metabolic slowdown. All of this is also happening. I mean, we cannot deny.
We cannot deny
aging.
that.
We cannot deny that, but we also understand now there's a segment of
Yes.
longevity medicine.
All coming in. Yes. It's in.
Yeah, so that's like chiasmically crossing against aging. So people are reversing the age with all the medical technologies that we have.
Yes.
So will they then be required to like perpetually increasing the dose?
No.
No.
Basically, there are research that has been determined, like my colleague from Slovakia, Dr. Dusan. He is also one of my speakers in our World Conference, the team. So he has done research and found that a 75-year-old man, he can build muscle as well as a 26-year-old young man.
Wow.
Yeah. They can build the same amount, because it's relative. I'm 76, let's say I'm 76 pounds, all right, or 76 kilo. I can build the amount of muscle relatively to my weight. A 26-year-old man can build the same amount of muscles relative to his weight. But of course, based on age, you will find recovery will be slower.
Okay.
The pain maybe take a day more to recover.
DOMS.
Right? Yeah, DOMS. And you probably can't train every day, but the rate of growth is just as good. It's just as good, yeah. Depending on how you want to train it, we are more precise. Whether we're going to use we call it substrates utilization. That means we want to say, are you using which path of the substrates, like ATP, CP, anaerobic glycolysis, aerobic glycolysis, and all these are the 5 types of substrates
And
that
then,
we look into. So based on the heart rate, based on the dosage, we will follow the path of this energy pathway. We call it substrate utilization. If you do it well, it's very fast. It's very, very effective. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
The segment of exercise, I would say, it's ever evolving. So evolving. We have so many functional kind of exercise, new sports or whatsoever, like maybe never existed like 30 years ago. So how is the discipline itself evolving when you look into the exercise? Because the exercise subject is changing. I mean, we never had people playing pickleball. Now we have pickleball. Yeah. We never had people doing like Spartan or high rocks and everything today. Now we have that as exercise. Maybe like 10 years ago, there was the Zumba culture. So how do you all evolve with that?
I look at it as a kind of an insulin searching kind of a mood that they want, because human looks for insulin. Adrenaline. Not insulin. They are more adrenaline drive. Okay. Something that is more exciting. Like now MMA, rope fighting, dragging a big lorry, a big bus. Those are more
strongman,
Iron Man. All these are going on. And you can see gyms are different like those days where we have machines and exercise equipment, fit balls and so forth. Now we don't see that, except you can see those into rehab centers where fit balls are being used for more rehabilitation rather than flexibility or exercise to improve coordinations, you see. So things has changed. It has evolved. By end of the day, in exercise medicine, we are back to the basic movements of the human being.
Okay. Functionality.
Whether you are moving at the degree where your joint allows you, because every joint movement is an angular movement. So every angle, we have limitation on every joint, and each joint has its limitation of an angle. So are we moving according to that, or are we going to inflame the joint if you over exceed it ballistically? So we work on that. But we trigger to elicit the hormones, to elicit the myokines, to elicit even certain amount of stem cells, regeneration, to elicit muscle growth, whether in coordination or intramuscularly, where you have other things coming in from the inside. So these are the things that we look at in exercise medicine. We are more onto the molecular level, where we look into the dosage that triggers what, for the condition of what, rather than road fight. For the young people, they love it, or something else like MMA. You see, the other thing that I see how exercise has evolved over the years, and the numbers of, like Malaysia, the high-fat population. So this has got to do a lot with the evolution of physical activities. Because if you look into the word physical activity, a lot of them has been misinterpreted in such a way that what is physical activity? You can actually dissect the word physical activity into two. One is sports, where you have coordination. The other one is exercise, like walking, doing some swimming, cycling. Those you don't need coordination, something that the mass population can do. Whereas sports is that I can't kick a football well, you see. So if I were to play football, I wouldn't enjoy it. And I definitely will stop the next day. So you will not see me playing again in the field. But what can I do? I can actually go for a walk. Then, when we walk, then we want to see whether you are triggering the dosage or not.
Okay.
If you get the dosage, you will see the effect. Very, very effective. Of course, there are many ways of doing it. Like what you should do to increase fat burning, what you should do to have better rest. When should you eat carbohydrates? When should you take in proteins? And all this, it gets in them together. So the evolution of exercise, or the word sports, or the entirely called the word physical activity, it has changed. And sometimes I find that it has changed not so positively towards the population based on the global mortality as announced by the WHO. I don't think it is positive, isn't it?
But more and more people are becoming aware and they're trying to squeeze their time to exercise.
Yes.
But at the same time, they're also bogged down with a lot of what I call it, like chasing the world. Like a lot of like commitments and everything they need to do, and then like suddenly like exercise 10 o'clock at night, which is sometimes I would still say like non-beneficial in that point.
Correct.
Of course, just to get the calories you burn, but then the other segment of the body is also neglected.
You see, Doc, when you mention this, I want to clarify another statement issued by the WHO. It says that any form of movements for 150 minutes per week. Now, chasing your child to the shower, washing your car, you gotta park your car because far away from your office, and you got to rush. All those are movements. Walking to the market, rushing back to cook. All those are movements. Are they positive? No, they are stress movements. You know, and the Journal of Psychology has even mentioned doing house chores does not reduce your cortisol.
Increase the cortisol.
Increase the cortisol.
Now we got to be very careful because the ladies you're going to listen
my
to
wife
this.
loves it. She said that I don't need to do it anymore. So basically, exercise it should be to encourage people to exercise or to do a form of activity. It should be a dedicated time. And the muscle should contract voluntarily. That means I should dedicate myself 45 minutes or half an hour to walk. And at that time, I should walk, and I should walk at a certain number of heart rate or whatever.
And the segment of leisure is very important.
Yes.
I realized that I used to like admire when I was in my growing up as a teen, right? I used to go and play football like almost every day, like compulsory. Like if you don't play football, that day is not a day.
No, it doesn't. Not complete.
Yeah, not complete. And then I used to see all this middle in the early 20s, 30s, abangs all, they will come like after 5:30, 6 o'clock, they're there with their bikes, they come, they get their shoes ready. So it's a changing of guards. The younger ones go out,
correct,
the big guys go out. And I always saw that they always played and they had fun. But today, like I said, when we send kids to like trainings and everything, it's very intensive. It's very stressful because these kids have to go and play competition, this, that. They have to like perpetually be like extremely good and very determined. Like it looks like almost they are already getting to be a semi-pro. Right?
Yeah.
And
Competitive.
that's where also there's a lot of the stress. Because you're being pushed. Of course, sometimes it's good to have a bit of push, but there's also this element of fun.
Yes.
So that's an interesting thing when you look into cortisol and everything. So that's why you feel like whether there's a dopamine surge, whether there's a serotonin effect in the body when they go for exercise. I want to ask a couple of last questions.
Yeah, sure.
Going back to we're seeing the evolution of sports itself and exercise itself. You have a lot of young future exercise experts coming out from the college. How do you all see yourself now being very close to the public in terms of moving away from just government entities and having private centers where people could exercise there? One. Secondly is digitalizing this. This is a big segment of people are looking forward. Like, I have a customized program that I can do something at home, and then I'm monitored. And now we're thinking about all of the AI wearables. All of this is already now. It's already here. It's just like how we fuse it. So anything that you all are preparing this in your journey in your college as well as maybe the younger exercise practitioners.
In fact, to your question number one, I think we have contributed quite a bit to the country by setting up exercise clinic with the Ministry of Health. We have been giving patients for free, treating them for free, and serving the public. All right, and it would be nice that it can be commercialized. More people to set up exercise clinics, to run it in a different direction, of course, as an intervention to diseases and conditions. That's number one. I'm looking forward to that. If that is possible, of course, it will be very good. It will put Malaysia to another level. Because if you see in America, I was in the United States. I worked for Joe Biden many years ago. 1987, 88, 89, for 3 years. I was with them for a couple of years. And they are not governmental, they're not government control. Everything they are on their own because they have a lot of those experts that actually come out and do it themselves. And other parts of the country are the same. In fact, in Hungary, they have been calling me to go over there and bring exercise medicine. I met with the previous ambassador of Hungary, Dr. Penna. When I met her, she was about to leave office, and she told me that, please bring exercise medicine to Central Europe. And the installation of the new ambassador, Dr. Sando, he has actually invited me to meet him on the 17th, that's a few days from now, to talk about exercise medicine in Europe. So these are the things that, if you can grow, I would like to see that the 6% contribution to the global mortality from physical inactivity can be reduced. I see that that's a missing link, apart from everyone is exercising. That's number one. Number two, digitalization. Well, you see a lot of those things, all those GIF movements, right? I have a very good friend from Italy. He has invited us to go over there. They actually come up with a program, a nutritional analysis. What they want to do is that, let's say, a person who's diabetic and he is in Thailand, a Malaysian diabetic, he's in Thailand. And when he is in Thailand, he doesn't know what to eat because the menu is all in Thai. So you can take pictures of that menu, put it into the system, and it will describe what to eat based on his condition. So there's one part of it. And then they have invited us to put our exercise module into it, something like digitalization. We just had an online meeting yesterday, basically. And the meeting actually has come up to, we want to remove this. We do not want it to be digitalized by GIF or those AI figure that moves around and then your voice over. No. We have decided that we're going to go back into interaction so that the person who is showing the movements will be able to ask questions to us, and we will tell them why.
Okay.
Like basically, if you were to train a biceps, you always move the arm, just the elbow flexion, right? But basically, the biceps originate from the scapula and attached to the radius. It crosses two joints.
Correct.
So when a muscle contracts crossing two joints should move to maximally contract the muscle. So if you just move the elbow joint, you're not training your biceps enough. You should be moving your elbow joint and your shoulder joint. And plus a supination because it's attached to the thumb. So this is how we want to show exercise in that system.
There's a combination of...
Yes. Then people will have interaction. Why? Not just, the voice over. This is a perfect question you asked that we just had a meeting yesterday and we have concluded that we're going to do an interaction from someone showing how to exercise and why is it being done this way. Rather than, we see a lot. There are so many of them. I follow a lot of this because it's interesting to look at those beautifully drawn GIF and figures. Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Prof. Dr. Muhammad Lee Chee Pheng.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
you're most welcome.
coming to Lesung Batu Medic Show today. I think a lot of us definitely benefited from your sharing.
I hope so.
We look forward maybe to see you in the future with all your knowledge and all your success.
Sure. Thank you very much. Yeah.
So
Look
terima kasih
forward to that.
kepada everyone yang menonton Lesung Batu episod kali ini. Semoga pemahaman tentang senaman sebagai salah satu segmen perubatan tu sangat-sangat penting. So for those who are tuning in, don't forget we're going to have this Biohacking Summit 2026, 24th to 25th of January. So for those who want to attend, the link is below. Don't forget to go and like and subscribe Lesung Batu Medic Show on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and also on Spotify. Until we meet next time, kita lesung kau.